Hello and welcome to the Tilehurst End. You're here with me, Ross Webber, for a women's team update, trying to do them a bit more regularly now. And of course, where would we be with a Tilehurst End women's update without Peter Matthews? How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, Ross. Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, I know that our update in kind of January was popular, and people really like hearing about what's going on, with the women's team now that it is under the community trust, rather than it being its own separate team. But yeah, looking forward to chatting about it. First things first, though, I want to check in. How is your wife, the official women's team photographer? Is she doing okay?
Doing great. There's a great picture actually of the goalkeeper tipping the shot onto the crossbar actually, so she's timed that perfectly actually, and then she told me off actually for not captioning it because I forgot to say that it was player of the match, Sophie Butler, the goalkeeper. So she's still in charge.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into what's been going on with the Reading women's team lately. We're going to talk about kind of a break that they've had to take, but they are, kind of like the men's team on a bit of an unbeaten run right now. So that's good to hear about. And then we'll chat a little bit more about everything that's been going on. Right after this, thanks as always to ZCZ Films, who sponsor every podcast, and thanks as always to all of you guys for subscribing on YouTube. So subscribe, all that good stuff is right down there. All right, Peter, why don't we get started by kind of talking about the big old break that's kind of been right in the middle of Reading's season here. I know it's a bit odd to start with a break, as it were, but what's been going on with the Reading women?
So the Reading women's team have had a 3-week break actually from playing, which hasn't been ideal. The UK weather has been weather for ducks, so it's been rather wet. It's also coincided with 3 matches that are unusually all played on a grass surface. So they had Fleet away, they had Windsor and Eton away, and they had AFC Portchester away. All 3 teams play on grass, which is quite unusual in our league. There's a lot of 3G pitches, and it all happened at the same time. Now, there was plenty of time, actually, for those games to be called off, so we didn't have to set off in the car and travel, which is good.
That's good.
I say that, I mean, you could have called it off 5 days in advance. They were never going to be played. So I was going to say,
this is what I've heard from Ben as well, right? That the entirety of England is currently underwater is the general vibe I'm getting.
Certainly the south, yeah. So and fair play to we drew 0-0 on Sunday's game, and fair play to Ed really, because Ed Jackson Norris, the Reading team's manager, because he didn't use it as an excuse. I did in my match report. Okay. And if anybody knows me, it's quite hypocritical really, because I would say that a lot of managers and some I can think of, it almost feels like when something doesn't go right or they don't win or it's a draw, then it's quite easy to get the little black book of after match excuses out. So, and mine was the 3-week break. Actually, I thought they looked a little bit ring rusty really, but Ed didn't do that. He, I looked at his follow up talk today on his Instagram account and a diary of a manager, and he didn't use that excuse. So I've written it in my black book of excuses anyway.
It is for the writers to do though, right? It's for you and me to give all of the excuses for the for the fans to take and stuff. It's not for the manager. The manager's got to go out there and say, no, it's the same pitch for everyone. It's the same thing for everyone. We're all dealing with that. But no, we can explain, what's going on elsewhere. Let's actually, I know this isn't necessarily where we were going to go with this, but just briefly, because Ed Jackson Norris is now coming up on, his first year almost with the team. You mentioned there that he does the kind of Instagram video.
Diary of a manager. Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit and then maybe transition into how you feel Ed's first season has gone?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely. So he walks around in the around the SCL Stadium car park, actually talking into his phone on a. I do this every few days, actually, updates. So he was giving the update after the Southampton game, and it's really interesting to listen to. He's very easy to listen to. He communicates very well. and it's all very factual and down to earth and interesting stuff on the way around. So he settled into it really well. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. So, he's been with the Community Trust. He was managing Maidenhead United as well. And then he's hopped over to Reading. So, so he's been doing this for a long time. But he comes across really well. Really nice bloke as well. And it will be good if we can get him on the podcast at some stage as well. So you'd love chatting to him, Ross, as well, because he's all about the setup. It's all about the formation.
Yeah, I've got to check out. I'm definitely going to check out those videos right after this because I really want to go see. I have a lot of praise for, and like, of course you do, Ross, you are one, but I have a lot of praise for part-time coaches and guys that are able to, manage their lives and do all of these other kinds of things while they're also doing coaching, because it becomes this huge hobby that takes over like everything else. When you're into football, it's not a small hobby. It's something that kind of takes over everything. So anytime there's a part-time coach, especially at like a high level like this, I am quite impressed by that. Before we get into the Unbeaten run and things like that, you said something to me earlier that Ed Jackson Norris had kind of said in one of his interviews. You mentioned that he mentioned the team are 16 goals behind their XG this season. Is that true? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, you tell me more about the XG than I would really, but on chances created, they went through a lean spell really, where they were creating lots of chances, but they still won the game, but it just made the game so much harder. So they just couldn't put the ball in the back of that. They just weren't clinical enough. But 16 goals behind in XG. So an incredible stat that was reeled off today, actually.
It's really, really interesting. It's really interesting, and I think it kind of speaks to obviously the women at this particular time are playing in kind of like a lower league, and like obviously like even versus like on the men's side, Championship versus League One, there's different things that you have to do to like succeed in those leagues, or like there's different things that you're dealing with, and I think it's really interesting because it does indicate if they've created that much XG that they're not scoring, it does indicate that in terms of creating chances, as you say, they're doing a good job. But finishing, chances is not easy. And like, all of those kinds of things like XG, you're calculating it against your average best possible outcome. Like they score a goal. Well, if your players are a little bit lower down in level, it might not be as likely that they score a goal every single time. So it's really, really interesting just to kind of hear that he is still thinking about, at that level for sure.
Oh yeah, no, he's extremely detailed, and they've got the VO on, so they've got every team can still.
The VO is great. I love the VO. Yeah. We bring that out for the club games that I'm part of too, and it's a lot of fun to watch back. So tell us then, they've been on a pretty good run. Obviously, last time out we spoke, they were quite a way off promotion, and it still looks like that's not likely from what I understand this year. But they have been on, they have been putting together a pretty good run from what I understand.
Yeah, they're only they've played 12 league games. They've lost 3, so they've won 7 and drawn 2 in all competitions at the moment. I think they're 2 defeats against the same team, actually, Winchester City Flyers, in the last 10 games. So they're on, they're in really good form, and the XG bit is interesting, and I know some of that is skewed. Well, some of that is perhaps not skewed by the last game over the weekend because there wasn't that many chances. But the last 3 games were 2 4-1 wins in the league and a 5-1 win in the League Cup, the regional League Cup, which has put them through to the semi-finals. So they've scored goals, and they turned from a team that was behind their XG and not having that clinical finish into one that was actually putting the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, but they're and they're playing. They're playing well. So I think, like I said, the break has. It's a shame when you're winning and you're winning 4-1. You're winning 4-1. You're winning 5-1. You've beaten Wycombe 1-0, the league leaders. Then I would imagine, as any other football player, you just want to play the next game and you want to play it as quickly as you can because you're invincible at that stage, aren't you?
Right. Confidence really is so much of it.
Yeah. So every time you get on the pitch, so it was a real shame. Yeah, it was a real shame they did. But yeah, they're in really good form.
Well, so well, actually, no. Let's talk about the draw with Saints then, where the goals unfortunately didn't quite flow. Long-time Tilehurst End listeners or viewers or whatever you are now may know that this is the local derby for me. I'm from Southampton. My dad is a Southampton season ticket holder. So always interesting to see Reading versus Saints for me. But yeah, tell us about the game. How did Reading look likely to win, or was it just a bit of a turgid one?
It was a game of it was a robust defending game actually. Both defences were very much on top actually. Southampton actually just for knowledge really have two teams. So they have the Southampton ladies team in the Championship. And then they have what is now really the Southampton Women's Football Club, which are now known as the Sirens rather than the Saints. So
I apologise.
Just so you know as well, really. Yeah, they are.
No, that's good. That's good knowledge for me.
And in an interesting fact that has nothing to do with it, they are the oldest and most successful women's team in Southampton, actually. So I think they've won the FA Cup 8 times. They were formed in 1970. So they got, along with Reading, their history, are they're probably the two biggest teams, certainly at this level. And it was. Southampton probably had our goalkeeper was called into action with 3 tremendous saves. So Sophie Butler was in goal. She tipped the ball onto the crossbar and tipped one over the crossbar and put another one wide of the goal. All from long range efforts, really. There was nothing. There was no real close chances.
This was a regular grass field, I think you mentioned. So would you?
No, this was 3G. So this was
this one was 3G. Okay.
Yeah, so it's at Arbor Park. I mean, I'd love the Reading women's team to be playing back in Reading, as I think everyone would. Finding somewhere, may be tricky, but to be fair to the Slough Town Arbor Park Stadium, it's a terrific stadium. We're away next weekend at Shoalin. Shoalin is effectively a sports centre with a 3G pitch outside, and so it doesn't have the facilities. It's nothing like a football stadium. So we have one of the best football stadiums, if not the best football stadium in the league. It's just that it's not in Reading, which is a real shame.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully someday we'll get them back on the Medeski or whatever it's called now pitch. That'll be that's the goal, obviously. So I know that this season there are extra promotion spots available, but I believe those are separated across all of the regions. Is that correct? So it's not currently looking likely that Reading will pick up one of those spots?
Yeah, so there are in Tier 5, which is the tier that we play in, there are 8 different regional leagues. So we're in the Southern League, the Southern Premier League. There are 8 leagues. The winners of each of those leagues, 8 leagues, will go through automatically. That's the promotion spot. This year, because of the changes and the restructuring of the WSL and the WSL2, the old championship as it was called, there are an extra 2 places to go up, but it's the 2 best runners up on a points per game basis across the 8 Tier 5 regions, really. And in our league at the moment, Wickham are top. Portchester have games to catch up on as well, so they could challenge and be the disruptor. But everyone else is almost, they're beating each other, really. So they're taking points off of each other, really. So it might be difficult for whoever finishes second in this league to be the best.
Too much strong competition. That's what's going
absolutely.
On.
It is a strong league. Yeah, it is a strong league.
Yeah,
and it's a league that could be even stronger next season. So,
so why do you say that? Who's coming in next season?
Farnham Town.
Okay.
So they're an owned football team, both for the men and the women, actually, that are being funded quite considerably. They are, I think both teams, the men and the women's team, actually will be on their second or third promotion on the trot. So they're on a bit of a roll, and they're being funded. So they're going to be a force to reckon with. There's very much a chance.
Peter, it doesn't surprise me that Farnham are being funded. I'm from Southampton, but I lived in Alton for a very long time, and I used to go to Farnham quite regularly. So just doesn't surprise me that there's a little bit of money sloshing around.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in that county with the money as well, isn't it? Certainly,
Exactly.
But yeah, and Worthing may come down, so that's another big team. So and we've got some good teams in this league already, really. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thinking then, I guess, about I don't want to make you think about it too much because there's still games to go and there's lots to look forward to, which we'll get to. But obviously, at the end of last year, and this is partially for the club making changes. Pedro Bruno was let go and Ed Jackson-Norris was coming in. I'm sure your answer is going to be, yeah, I want to keep him. Going into next season. But what do you think? Kind of like a year or an off season of stability would do for this particular women's team.
Yeah, well, only Ed Jackson-Norris with his coaching team, Max Scott and Ryan and the other individuals alongside. You've got Emma Hopkins at the head of women's football as well. They're a really good team. They're a really tight team. They've brought across players they've got good connections. They brought across players from Maidenhead and from other teams as well. It's a really good unit. It's a unit that's really developed. The team has developed well. Probably took a few games really to get up to speed, and they're on a really good roll now. So as that form suggests, and they will only get better. And Ed, like I said, if you can get to talk to him, and he's a terrific. All of them, actually, to be fair, the positivity, the professionalism, the fact that they love what they do, it's infectious. And Reading will only progress, albeit with the caveat that any extra bit of of funding, whether that's around helping with psychology of football players away from the football field, whether it's dietary requirements, whether it's strength and conditioning, all the extra bits that might need to be done, whether it's a home ground, all of those sort of bits that we can be proud of, then they're all going to help. Yeah.
There's a phrase that I've been using a lot recently that kind of describes, I think, what you're describing, is saying that there's levels to this. Like it's great that we can have like this level of like, I feel like the players are more consistent this year, right? And that's in terms of it's not that we're losing players every week or something like that. So we can actually play, okay, that's a level we've reached. Now we have a consistent team. And then, as you say, like as you go through, now you have a team, let's start thinking about the nutrition. Let's start thinking about how we coach them and all these kinds of things. And as you go up, you get these levels to it, you build them on top of each other. But I do definitely feel like with the women's game and where Reading are in the table, the consistency with the coaching staff it is vital because unless it's going horribly wrong, it's you don't want to be like every few weeks trying to work out a new manager or something like that when you might be if you've got another job, it's hard to spend a lot of time learning all of these different play styles and things like that. So yeah, you spoke about the coaching staff as well, and I'm really glad that you brought that up because you published a really great chat with Ryan Robinson recently on the website. I don't really want to talk over it at all. Why don't you just kind of tell us what that was like getting to chat with him and what Ryan kind of went into?
Yeah, I mean, for the Tigers, we've been lucky enough to interview Ed and Max Scott, his assistant manager, and Ryan Robinson has also gave us his time as well. He's the goalkeeping coach. Like I said earlier, really, all three of them, in fact, all of the setup within it, they're all so positive. They absolutely love what they do, and they all have day jobs. So from Ed working for the Community Trust. Ryan Robinson's no different. He is an individual. He's the goalkeeping coach on a Sunday. During the week, he is working at the Community Trust. He has gone from a fantastic story. I think it's worth a read. I'm biased because I typed it up, but it was his words, and it's a really interesting story. He has gone from participant of the Community Trust, so he dropped out of his college, Henley College education in 2020 during COVID. He joined the Community Trust. It's a chance to, he took a 2-3-year course, I think it was, on sports enterprise and sports coaching. He's gone from participant of the Community Trust Premier League campaign and to heading up the Premier League Kicks, which gives children, I think it's 600 to 800 children a week, the chance of free access to facilities, to coaching,
Amazing.
to mentoring.
That's awesome.
Alongside a community, and as a Reading fans, we ought to know more about the community trust, really, as it's got our name on the badge, really. But they're seeing something like 1,500 kids a week and adding so much value in so many different areas across schools.
It's huge. It's huge.
Across communities, underprivileged, areas, and diverse communities. It's incredible work. So that's his day job, and then on a Tuesday and Thursday, he is helping. The goalkeeping, helping with the goalkeeping coaching for, I say Reading women's team, but it's even younger. It's the under-16s, the under-14s. Yep. So, they're there from, I think it's 6:00 this evening through till 9:00 in the evening. So he's doing that as well. And then on a Sunday, of course, he's then, with the first team, the women's first team coaching as well. So,
the old adage bears true, Peter, that everyone who works in football, the primary thing they have to have is not like footballing knowledge, quality, being nice, anything like that. It's an understanding spouse. That is the most important thing.
I think I asked that. I think I asked, what do you, so I think Saturday is his only day off. And I said, what do you do on a Saturday? And I think he basically said, I don't do anything to do with football because that's my day off. And I have to have an understanding partner, spouse. So I was going to say, absolutely.
So, it's just one of those things that just takes up a lot of time. Well, make sure, listeners, viewers, that you do check out that, that interview. Obviously, right at the start of the season in July, Peter chatted with Ed Jackson-Norris, so you can still go back and read that. But like I said, go and check out the interview with Ryan as well, because it's really interesting. So I just wanted to bring that up. So next place I kind of wanted to go, because I think I'm going to ask you what's here to look forward to last, Peter, so that people can, kind of check in about that. So it's kind of been an ongoing thing, with the women's team in the last year. And we've just talked about how the Community Trust are currently in charge of the women's team. And that's been the case for a few years now. You have asked, and we have asked when he was on this pod of Kuig, what his plans are with the women's team. And we won't go into that or relitigate that right now because those kinds of answers are out there. But you did briefly speak to him during a Q&A about the women's team on Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah. So we had the Q&A with Todd and Rob on Saturday. So I took the opportunity just to check in and ask the question again and check to see if there was any progress, really. So the answer was very much the same from Rob, that, they're in the right place with the Community Trust, whether that's right or not. The Community Trust do a fantastic job. So, but I think the ultimate plan is that he would quite like to have another owner take on, a new owner to take on and progress. But he did sort of end that. So there was no real progress on that from what he said earlier in the year. But he did end with a positive note to say that there will be, and he said, perhaps I shouldn't say this, but he said there should be some interesting developments in the next 6 weeks. So, hopefully we will have something, some positive news to look forward to within the coming weeks. So that.
Well, I kind of just said, we want that stability with Ed Jackson-Norris there next year as well. So, because he does seem like, as you said, after a few weeks or after a month or so of getting things into place, he was able to start pushing the results up and things like that. So hopefully, if it isn't in however many weeks, by April or something, we know a bit more about what the women's team are going to look like next season. I'm sure that helps with recruitment and all those kinds of things, which are crucial at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you asked the question, because I think that it is a question that we need to continue to ask, because I think that it is something that I am proud of as a Reading fan, that we had, the era of Reading in the Women's Super League, but also that we have been a club that has helped to, further women's careers throughout the game, both on the coaching and the playing side and things like that. And obviously, we've still got Peter, what was the name of the Welsh girl who's out here now who played for us briefly? She was on
Doing the commentating?
Doing the comms a lot, yeah.
Charlie Escort.
Thank you. Yeah, she's brilliant. Yeah, she just signed for another club out here. Yeah. So anyway, we have this history of fantastic women's players. Obviously, the people who came through the club like Fran Kirby and like Mary Earps, and it's important to me that we continue to push that out there, and especially at a time when now, I'm in America, I'm seeing the National Women's Super League just absolutely blow up and crush revenue goals. Everybody watches women's sports. It's not a thing whereby people are choosing not to do it. It is mostly, in my opinion, down to access level. Can you get to it? Can you watch it easily? And so I think what you say about the facilities at Arbor Park are fantastic, but I'd prefer to have the club in Reading. I think you're spot on, because I think that if the club are in Reading, people in Reading are more likely to come and watch, because it's 10 minutes down the road. Rather than
there's a really powerful ending which I used for Ryan Robinson's interview, really, which he said towards the end, and I thought, well, that's it, that's a perfect time to stop, really. But he basically said, there is no difference with football. It's football. It's just women's football. Come along. It's the same. Yeah. You'll love it. And to be fair, the football is terrific. I know, as a Reading fan, and I watch, 80 plus Reading matches across the different teams each season. At the moment, the women's team are a joy to watch. It is really good. It is really good to watch. And Ryan finished it off to say as well, you can get access to, watch Reading women's team. There are 4 games left to be played at Arbor Park, and a cup game as well, which we'll come on to, virtually for the price of a cup of coffee. So in Starbucks or something like that. Yeah. So, it's really good value as well. So
Well, and as you mentioned a second ago, if you don't love the way in which the men's team are playing right now.
I didn't say that, but yes, so I'm going to say it.
All right, fair enough. I'll say it for you if you like. Okay, hey, the women's team are scoring goals other than this 0-0 against Southampton. Obviously, like you said, the 4-1, a 5-1 and all those kinds of good things. So as we kind of start to wrap up here, Peter, why don't you tell us what we have to look forward to in the next month or so with the Reading Women?
Yeah, so the Reading Women have got eight games left to play in the league. So 4 of them are at home, actually. So they've got Oxford City, who also play in the false sort of blue and white hoops. So we've got Oxford City to play. We've got Woodley, we've got Fleet, and we've got AFC Portchester. So I think it costs £5 to get in, actually. So we've got 4 games to look forward to. There's 4 away games as well. So they're in that charge still for the second place. I don't know, depending what the disrupting teams can do around Wycombe, maybe they won't have it all their own way either. So it's still, it's still all to play for. We will be up there in the conversation in that top 2 or 3. So it's pretty exciting to watch. The big game later this month, actually the 22nd of March, is the semi-final of the League Cup. So it's the regional, League Cup. We're playing AFC Portchester at Arbor Park, as it is at the moment. So it's scheduled to be played at Arbor Park. It's a team, AFC Portchester, a really good team in our league as well. And we haven't played them yet this season. So that was one of the games that was called off because of the weather. So we've got to play them 3 times, one of them being for a place in the semi-final. And then the last game as well, or the other cup that was still in, is the combined counties. So again, we've been trying to play Windsor and Eton since about the middle of December. So I'm not quite sure when that game is going to be played, but that should be played as well. So, there's some really good football to watch, and it is really good football. And they're a terrific set of girls and women. I say girls and women. Our goalkeeper, I think, is 16 years old. So there's a complete range of players as well within it, and yeah, it's really good. It's really good fun. Yeah, there's a lot to get behind. Yeah, superb.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we'll end it there too, because the thing that you said that I liked is that it's really good fun. And I agree. It's football. Do you like football? Come and watch some football. £5 a ticket. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah. Peter, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Any last thoughts on the team?
No, I just echo those words, really. Come along. cheer them on. Come to the semi-final if nothing else. It is, it's a terrific little setup, a really nice atmosphere, and it's good to watch. So thank you for having me on again, and and I look forward to coming back on. And talking about the success over the next few weeks and whatever has been promised in the way of something, some development and positivity to look forward to. So it'll be good.
Don't worry, we'll get you back after March 22nd so that we can talk about our upcoming League Cup final after we beat Portchester. We're not going to buy them, so
no,
we're certainly not going to buy
them. It's okay.
No,
we haven't got that funding.
We got to fund ourselves first. Yeah. All right. Well, Peter, thank you very much. Thank you very much, listeners. Please do please do subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to grow this channel, and there's lots of other good bits here that you might like. So please do that. Please make sure you're also reading Peter's excellent stuff on the tilehurstend.com. I mean, he really is the Reading women's writer at the moment. So make sure you're checking that out on the Tilehurst End. Thanks very much. Come on, you Rs.
Thanks very much.